자, 그러면 지금 각 조별로 이제 그룹 1부터 시작을 할 건데, 퍼스트 그룹부터 할 건데요. 튜터랑 질문자랑 같이 함께 지금 이렇게 뭐 브레인스토밍이나 이런 거 하셨던 거 있죠? 그거 들고 나오셔서 여기 무대에서 예쁜 얼굴도 보여주시고 같이 나오셔서 여기에서 질문하는 거로 할게요. 괜찮아요? Are you ready to talk? 준비됐어요? 아, 왜 이렇게 졸려서 그래요? Saturday afternoon. 준비됐어요? Are you ready to talk? Yes! Okay, let's go. 자, 그러면 first group 먼저 한번 앞으로 나올까요?
Hi, I'm tutor of Group 1. My name is Ngo의. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm listener 남규빈.
Nice to meet you. My name is Song.
And we talked about Wi-Fi, and it is very interesting. It was, and our question is, can we use it anywhere? Wi-Fi.
Nowadays, Wi-Fi is very popular, so you can use it pretty much anywhere that has a router that's connected to the region.
Why $5 was produced for just 1 year?
So the special $5 on the right-hand side that we had before, that was produced in 2001. So that was the centenary of Federation. So it was 100 years after Australia as a whole was created.
I have one more question. Yes, I thought Kookaburra was laughing, and it is really laughing or just its sound.
It's the sound that the kookaburra makes. It doesn't. It just sounds like laughing, but it's just how it sings.
Okay.
Thank you.
자, 잘하셨어요. 다음은 세컨드 그룹.
Hello, I'm a tutor of Group 2 and my name is Yoon Yang. We discuss about these things and we have two questions. First is that during the lecture you compare some products price in Australia and Korea. So we have a question about the prices in Australia. Most products were more expensive than in Australia than in Korea. So are most products more expensive in Australia than in Korea?
Some products are more expensive, but I guess one thing that Australia has that is cheaper than Korea is steak. So in Australia, you can get a steak for about $10,000. But here, if you go to Outback or TGIF, it's maybe $70,000 or something. So steak in Australia is very popular. And all the McDonald's in Australia actually use Australian beef. So beef is more cheaper than Korea.
I have a question about Australia's vacation. Korea has 3 vacations. Spring takes 2 weeks, summer takes 1 month, and winter takes 1 month. Are Australia's vacations different?
So in Australia, school terms, we have terms instead of semesters. Are you talking about school? School holidays, school vacation? So in Australia, instead of having one semester, semester 1 and semester 2, and winter and summer vacation, we have 4 terms. So we study for 12 weeks, have a break for 2 weeks, study for 12 weeks, 2 weeks, 12 weeks, 1 month vacation.
Thank you.
자, 오스트레일리아는 방학 많아요, 그쵸? 4번에 4번씩 12주씩 나눠서 12주 수업 듣고 2주 쉬고 이렇게 12주씩 듣고 수업 듣고 2주 쉬고 가보고 싶어요? Okay, let's go to Australia one day. 자, 그러면 다음 팀 나올까요?
We are from group 3 and we have several questions to ask you. We summarized what you told us and it looks like a mess, but yeah.
It's a lot of information.
I have 2 questions. Well, first, we learn Japanese or Chinese and English as second language. In Austria, which language do they learn for second language?
So when I was going through elementary school or primary school, we had an option of either Spanish or Italian, because in my area that I grew up in, there was a lot of Europeans. So they provided a Spanish class or Italian class through grade 1 to 6.
And second, you told us that you wore uniform in kindergarten. Should students wear uniforms including private school?
So all schools in Australia, in elementary and high school, we wear uniforms. Unless you're a technical college, then you can wear your own clothes.
I have 2 questions. First, could you explain me some famous Australian sports?
So in the video that we saw first, maybe you saw some people playing with the big green things and some sticks, right? So that's called cricket, and it's very popular in England and also India and Australia. So that is one main sport that we play. We also have soccer. Soccer is very popular, especially in high school as well, and also tennis.
Then, do you have any episodes of your part-time job?
Sorry? What? Episode? Funny story? Oh, okay. In the tower, I remember one time I had to serve 2 glasses of wine to the customers, and because the tower revolves, it's a revolving restaurant. In my mind, I thought there was a step there, but then I had wine spilled all over my white shirt. So I went to the manager, and she said, "The only shirt I have is my one." So she gave me her shirt, and it was very tight here. So that was one interesting story.
모자 셔츠를 입었어야 그때, 그치? 그 와인을 다 쏟아서 흰 셔츠였는데 그거 이제 벗어야 되니까 매니저한테 가서 나 셔츠 달라고 하니까
She was tall.
이렇게 나 선생님처럼 이렇게 작은 분이셨는데 이 셔츠를 준 거야. 그러니까 얼마나 작았겠어, 그치? 엄청 타이트했겠지.
So I hid in the bar for the whole night.
Okay, thank you.
자, 다음 그룹 나올까? 잘했어. 잘했어요.
We are from group 4, and we have some questions. Are there many kangaroos in Australia even nowadays?
So the kangaroos are found in mainly Central Australia, in the wild, and nowadays they are becoming like a bit of a problem. So a lot of the Australian government introduced this plan where we can apply for a license to go hunt kangaroos for their skin or their meat. And nowadays in the supermarket you can buy kangaroo meat. So you can get kangaroo steak, kangaroo sausage, kangaroo fillets, like that. And the taste is very similar to beef, just a little bit more tough. So there are a lot of kangaroos.
And is didgeridoo an instrument for tourists?
For tourists? So, what One more time, please.
Is didgeridoo an instrument for rituals? I mean,
Rituals.
do common people also learn to blow or use?
So originally the didgeridoo is a traditional instrument of the Aboriginals. But nowadays, a lot of people that learn music, especially woodwind instruments, they learn to play the didgeridoo and also incorporate that together with more modern music. So it's not just used for rituals. People can play it for fun or to record for their own music.
And is there any special thing in the hardware bridge? Because one of our group members said that she have heard that people can walk through the upper part of the hardware bridge.
So there's a program in Australia called the bridge climb. So you can either choose the morning bridge climb or the evening bridge climb. So you pay, I think it's about $160, and you go up with the group, you climb the bridge. It's about 1 hour climbing to get to the top, and then you take some photos, and then you come back down.
And it's our last question. Who are the people in the paper money?
So they are famous Australians and also the Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, Queen Elizabeth I, and also some famous Australians. There's an Aboriginal person that invented the, I think it was the pacemaker on the $50 note, and on the $10, I can't remember the names, but they're famous Australians.
Thank you.
자, 그 하버 브리지에 그쵸 클라이밍 올라가는 거 우리 락 클라이밍처럼 재밌을 것 같죠? 오스트리아에 가보면 한번 그 하버 브리지 가서 그 클라이밍 브리지 클라이밍 시도 계단으로 계단으로 올라가는 거래. 락 클라이밍 같은 거 아니고 한번 해보시고요. 다음 그룹 한번 나올까요?
Hello, I'm the tutor of Group 5, Yukgisul, and my name is Song-Aun. I have a question. How do Australians make use of the inevitable land?
So Australians use the native land. They use in Australia. There's a lot of agriculture, so they do a lot of farming. So we have a lot of farms in Australia. We also have a lot of gold. Well, we used to have a lot of gold, so we used to mine for gold. And in Central Australia and Western Australia, there's a lot of ore mines that have started being discovered.
And I have another question. Is there any secrets of paper money to prevent fake money production?
So actually there are several security features. I'm not sure if you all had a look, but very similar to Korean one, if you hold the money up to the light, there's a watermark. Also the window, it's a transparent window, so you can see through it. So if you photocopy the money and you look at the window and you can't see through it, then there's, you know it's fake. There's also the Commonwealth star placed on every note. If you hold it up to the light, it will match up with the other side. So there's half of the star printed on one side and the other half on the other side. So they have to match up.
Thank you.
오스트리아에는 그쵸 그 금광도 많이 하고 아그리컬처 농사도 많이 짓고 땅이 되게 넓은데 반해서 사람의 인구는 적다고 그랬잖아요. 그쵸? 그래서 그 넓은 땅에 이제 좀 안 쓰는 사막도 많겠지만 금광도 많이 하고 농사도 짓고 그렇게 한대요.
Thank you for your great lecture of Australia, and we had so many questions to ask, but we chose 4 questions. The first one is who is in the money, but Group 4 already did it, and we will start from question 2.
I hope to go to travel to Australia. What do you want to say
you should go or eat to me.
So if you go to Australia, I would recommend steak, pub steak. So it's $10 and you can get like fries, salad, and a piece of steak. And also, please try some kangaroo when you're there. And then you can tell all your friends, oh look, I ate a kangaroo.
When did your performance in Opera House?
So I performed at the Opera House in 2005. So I was part of the Sydney State Choir. So we were selected from our school to go perform in 2005.
Why is water expensive?
So Australia is very far away, so we have to import a lot of our products, right? And also our tax is very high, and also our cost of living is very high due to inflation. So Australia is considered a very expensive country to live in.
Thank you.
We are from Group 7 and I'm the tutor Lee Jae-eun.
I have a question. What are some favorite food in Australia?
Famous foods. In Australia, fine dining has become more popular, so very expensive meals. And we also have, do you know about Michelin star restaurant? Michelin star restaurants in Australia. Because Australia is so multicultural, there's some different types of cuisine available. So you can get Chinese food, you can get Japanese food, also Australian fusion. A lot of restaurants try to do Australian fusion using Australian flavors with other styles of cooking, like the French or Hispanic or Asian style of cooking.
And I have another question. How much people know about Korean in Australia?
In Sydney, there's a very big Korean population. Like, for example, in where I used to live was very populated by Middle Eastern and Europeans. Whereas if you get closer to the city, there's a lot of Koreans. And so I think because, do you know about the K-pop wave? So I heard about the K-pop wave in Australia through my friends. I feel like a lot more people nowadays know about Korea and Korean culture and Korean idols.
Thank you.
한류 열풍이 많이 그쵸? 다른 데뿐만 아니라 오스트리아나 이제 유럽이라든지 그치 K-팝으로 인해서 되게 많이 이제 한국에 알려지고 있어요. 이제 그 다음 이제 이어갈 인재들이잖아요, 그쵸? 자, 다음 그룹 나오세요.
Hello, I'm the tutor of Group 8 and we have summarized what you have said about Australia and we have several questions.
It seems like Australian English has been affected by British English, so I want to know the similarity and difference between the two.
So British English, we were colonized by the British. So as you can tell, maybe the accent is very similar because we pronounce a lot of the same words similarly. But our spelling of some different words is, compared to American English, is much different. For example, in the word color, you would spell C-O-L-O-R in American English, but we add the U. And same with the favorite, F-A-V-O-U-R-I-T. And we also change a lot of the Z's or Z's to S's. So in emphasize, E-M-P-H-I-S, S-I-S, S-E instead of Z.
I want to know the holiday of Australia.
So in Australia, we have Australia Day, which is January 26th. So it's a public holiday, similar to, I guess, Korean Independence Day, where they honor the World War II. And that's Anzac Day is April. I've been in Korea for too long. We have Anzac Day, which is similar to like Veterans Day in America, and also Australia Day to celebrate the signing of the Federation document, which is January 26th.
And our last question is, why did you choose to come to Korea?
So the friends that I studied with in university were really interested in K-pop and Korean culture, so they applied for the EPIC program, and they said, "Oh, why don't you come along too?" So it was really a big step for me because it was the first time I traveled overseas. So I never had my passport. I had to apply for my passport, and also when I arrived in Incheon, I was like, "Oh my gosh, where am I? how do I get through customs? What do I do now?" So it was because of my friends that I got to take on this opportunity.
Thank you. First, thank you for your presentation. And I'm a tutor of Group 9, Lee Yoonjin, and we are going to ask some questions to you.
I heard that Australia Christmas in summer. What do you do in Christmas?
So Christmas in Australia is a little bit different. So you know how Santa Claus wears the red and like a big jacket and the really warm pants and the hat? In Australia, he wears sunglasses, a short sleeve shirt, and shorts, and also flip-flops or thongs. And he rides kangaroos. So when he comes to Australia, he swaps his reindeer for kangaroos. So in Christmas, we have barbecues. If the weather is really nice, we have a barbecue in the backyard, because usually Australian homes have both a front yard and a backyard. We gather around with our families, and also we can also play cricket and go to the beach or the park. And during Christmas, there's a very, very big game of cricket that is played between Australia and England.
What is your major in university?
So I actually have 3 degrees. My first degree was an associate degree in hotel management. Second degree is a bachelor of hospitality, tourism, and leisure management. And my master's was in commerce, a major in human resources.
And you said about the Aboriginals, and I wonder about how they are living now, where they live or how they stay.
So in Australia, in the central part of Australia, especially in the Northern Territory, northern part of Australia, there are a lot of Aboriginal tribes still living. But nowadays, a lot of Aboriginals are integrated into society, so they work as teachers or doctors and very similar roles as well in the major cities.
Thank you.
We are from Group 10, and we have some question for you.
The most famous traditional food in Korea is kimchi. What is the traditional food in Australia?
Like I said before, Australia has a lot of different cultures. So a lot of the I guess foods that Australia has is a fusion of both cultures. But if you're talking about traditional bush food, like back when the first settlers came, you can eat like damper, which is a style of bread made over an open fire in a pot. And also, do you know about like witchetty grubs? So witchetty grubs are an insect that you can find between the tree bark, and a lot of Aboriginals used to use that as a source of protein. Eat that as a source of protein.
And I have another question about airdrop. How does Australia's government preserve airdrop?
So there is actually a national park around Ayers Rock. So it's a protected area that the government is responsible for because it is a natural wonder of Australia. So they do a lot to conserve and also. Actually, there's an urban legend around Ayers Rock. A lot of tourists that come there to climb the rock or to see it try to take like the sand from there, and it's said because it's a very spiritual place for the Aboriginals. There's a lot of curses. So every year there's about 1,000 mail packages that comes from overseas from tourists that have said, oh, the sand brought me bad luck. Like someone in their family passed away, or someone got like really, really ill, or some bad accident happened to them. So that's their urban legend.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
에어슬락에 가시면 절대로 샌드, 그치? 모래 가지고 오면 안 되겠죠. 배럴럭을 가지고 온대잖아, 그쵸? 그러니까 혹시라도 방문하면 몰래 그거 흙 몰래 가지고 오면 안 될 것 같아요. 다음 마지막 팀이죠?
Hello, I'm tutor of group 11, and all of us has one question to you. Many people all over the world immigrated to Australia. Then, are there any racial discrimination issues to immigrants?
When I was growing up, I grew up in a very, like I said, multicultural community where we had a lot of Europeans, Asians, and also Middle Eastern. Anywhere you go nowadays, that you will be faced with racism. It's just how you decide to deal with it. Sometimes, actually, when I was working as a bartender in Australia for 5 years, I experienced some racism, usually from the older generation, but it's not limited to older generations. They wanted me to get an Australian to serve them instead of me serving them. But the funny thing is, I was actually working with a lot of backpackers, so a lot of people that were traveling on holiday. And actually, I was the only Australian that was born in Australia working at this bar. So I said, unfortunately, we don't have any other Australians here. So he left the bar.
What kinds of part-time job paid most?
So in Australia, hospitality jobs such as working in fast food restaurants, at restaurants, waitering, also cleaning, you get a base wage of $19.20 per hour. When I left Australia, that was how much you got. So 11,800 per hour. And if you work in hospitality and you work after midnight at a certain time, you also get 21,000 per hour up until 8 a.m. And on Sunday, if you're lucky enough to work at the restaurant on Sunday, you get 24,000 per hour for each hour all day in Sunday. So hospitality is a good industry.
You told us there are difference between American English and Australia English. Then I wonder why or what case is different.
So the pronunciation of a lot of words are a little bit different. In Australian language, like I said, it's a very lazy language. So we don't pronounce our R's as much, R's as much. So like for example, what other words? Other, we would say other or water. Like it's very hard to distinguish the R in Australian language. And also, we pronounce a lot of different things differently. Like the word can't. We pronounce can't. So the A's and the O's are different.
Have you ever been to academy?
Like private school or academy like Hagwon in Korea?
No.
In Australia. I was tutored in high school, so I went to a Hagwon for math because I'm not very good at math.
Last, when we saw the videos which you saw the last, it advertised in Australia, and there's process making the wine in Australia. Then is there any famous wines in Australia?
So I've noticed that in Latte Mart and E-Mart and Home Plus, there's a lot of yellowtail. So yellowtail is from South Australia, and it's a very popular wine for international tourists. So actually in Australia, you can visit the winery or the vineyard and taste the wine and have a look at the process of how they make it as well. So yellowtail is a very popular brand. And also Penfolds. Penfolds I've seen in Korea as well.
Thank you very much.
자, 너무 멋지게 다들 질문들도 잘하고 그쵸? 아주 열정적으로 잘하셨어요. 선생님 감사합니다. Thank you, Michael. 자, 그러면 이거로 지금 이제 우리 마무리하시고요. 어떻게 좋은 시간 된 것 같아요? 네, 질문들도 잘하고 뿌듯했어요. As a Korean. 한국인으로서 아주 긍지를 갖게 됐는데 이렇게 작게 시작을 해서 나중에 그쵸? 이제 꾸준히 이렇게 스피킹하고 이렇게 연습할 기회가 별로 없잖아요. 항상 말하는데 Slow and steady wins the race. 천천히 꾸준히 다음 달에도 여기 또 오실 거죠? 네, 올 거예요? 자, 그러면 잠시 끝나기 전에 공지사항을 알려드릴게요. 다음 달 10월에 CICC 토크는 이제 프랑스 선생님이 오셔서 프랑스 문화 이야기를 말씀하실 거예요. 10월 24일 토요일, 시간은 오늘 같이 이제 10시 30분에 시작하고요. 그리고 혹시 여기 충북국제협력단 홈페이지 포털 사이트에 가시면 충북국제협력단을 치고 이제 바로 가기가 나오면 홈페이지에서 여기 이제 신청을 하시면 돼요. 그리고 학생회원이 되면 이제 여러 가지 여기에서 자원봉사 활동을 할 수가 있는데 또 그 봉사 시간 중요하잖아, 그쵸? 그래서 여기에서 자원봉사 활동을 하시면 봉사 시간 인증을 받을 수가 있어요. 예를 들어서 이제 우리 할 수 있는 이제 학생들이 할 수 있는 게 이제 다문화 자녀 저소득층 학교 진로 1:1 보충 지도, 한국어 수업 같이 이렇게 해주고 하는 거, 그리고 어린이 영어 연극 교실 지도. 그래서 이건 이제 이 2시간 정도 인증 받을 수 있고요. 또 장애인과 함께하는 빵 과자 만들기 최대 4시간. 다른 데서 이렇게 봉사하는 것도 여러 가지 다양한 경험하는 것도 좋은데 참 좋을 것 같고, 또 사무 보조도 있어요. 그리고 외국 청소년과의 캠프 참여도 있고, 이거 이외에도 그 홈페이지에 들어오시면 더 다양한 프로그램에 대해 자세히 알 수 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 한번 충북국제협력단 들어오셔서 한번 확인해 보시고요. 자, 가기 전에 여기 프랑스 선생님 다음 달 next month is going to be a lecture here. 자, 프랑스 선생님 잠깐 소개 한번 해드릴게요.
Hello, my name is Bastien. I'm from France, and I will be your lecturer for next month, on the 24th.
잘생긴 선생님 만나러 다음 달에 꼭 다 올 거죠. 또 기대하고 있을게요. I hope to see you on 21st in October. See you then. Have a good rest of the day. 오케이, 잘 안녕히 돌아가시기 전에요. 아까 우리 단체 사진 찍기로 했었죠. 선생님이랑 같이 여기 무대에 다 올라오셔서 단체 사진도 또 멋지게 한번 찍고 갑시다.